Ladies and gentlemen, we have some absolutely incredible breaking news today. You see, yesterday evening, the House Republicans successfully voted to pass a bill called the SAVE Act, and let me tell you what, this bill changes everything. Now, what this bill would do is require both proof of United States citizenship when registering to vote as well as when actually voting. Meaning, this bill would almost guarantee that voter fraud would become a thing of the past. Now, as many of you know, the progressive left absolutely loves their voter fraud. They love allowing illegal immigrants to vote in United States elections. So check this out. Only 4 out of 212 Democratic congressional representatives voted to pass this bill. As for the other 208 Democrats that voted against it, well, effectively, they just voted to allow illegal immigrants to vote in our United States elections. Absolutely insane. Now, as many of you know, we've been having serious concerns about election integrity and voter fraud for years now, maybe even decades, and it's pretty much confirmed that the Democrats have been intentionally allowing illegal immigrants into the country in an effort to replace authentic American voters like you and me. But because of this bill, as well as many other things, the Democrats right now are pretty much facing an existential crisis. You see, the progressives have pretty much entirely lost the ideological war. America has wholeheartedly rejected their failed policies and woke agenda, and to top all of that off, for decades now, conservative families have been having 2 times as many children as progressive families. So what that means is that both demographically and ideologically speaking, the Democrats are screwed. And so it was this realization that caused the Democrats to pursue this absolutely insane open border policy. They realized that if they can't win the war of ideas, and if none of them are starting families and raising children, then their only option is to start importing millions of immigrants from the third world and hope that they all illegally vote for progressive politicians. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's really been going on here. And now, folks, we have a lot more to talk about today, but first I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news coverage, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. But okay, so folks, here's the truth. The Democrats' plan has pretty much been stopped dead in its tracks. Take a look at this.
In America, you can't drive a car, board a plane, buy fireworks without an ID proving you are who you say you are. So white folks are allowed to vote to decide the future of this country without proving that they are a citizen first. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in honor of the House passing the SAVE Act just moments ago. It's common sense that only American citizens should be able to vote in American elections. Congressman Chip Roy's SAVE Act will close election loopholes by ensuring that every state requires voters to provide proof of citizenship before registering to vote. When non-citizens go to the ballot box, the electoral system is compromised and American votes are diluted. The American people have the right to determine the future of our country, and we refuse to be disenfranchised by illegal votes. I was proud to support the SAVE Act when it passed the House today. And Mr. Speaker, I yield back my time.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. As of yesterday afternoon, the United States House of Representatives has officially passed a bill that will legislatively require proof of U.S. citizenship both when voting and registering to vote. But okay, so folks, what happens next? Now that this bill has successfully passed through the House, it needs to make its way through the Senate. However, here's the problem. Normally, bills like this require 60 votes in the Senate to pass, and right now, the Republicans only have 53 votes. However, there is a maneuver called the nuclear option, which the Senate Republicans could employ in order to get this bill passed with just 51 votes. That said, this nuclear option is incredibly risky because what it would do is effectively change the rules of the Senate going forward, such that future bills like this would also only require 51 votes. So needless to say, while this nuclear option might help Trump and the Republicans right now in the moment, it could easily backfire in the future if the Republicans were to ever lose control of the Senate. However, with all of that being said, allowing millions of illegal immigrants to vote for the Democrats in midterms less than 2 years from now could be absolutely catastrophic for this country. So the current rumor on the block is that Trump and the Senate Republicans are, in fact, considering going nuclear. And so, of course, if they choose to go that route, we would be risking nuclear backlash from the Democrats at some point in the future. But so the big decision is this: is potentially allowing millions of illegal immigrants to vote for the Democrats a big enough issue that it's worth taking a risk with the nuclear option, or should we just try to find another way to beef up election integrity over the next 18 months? Now, as we talked about in one of yesterday's videos, there's a very similar scenario unfolding right now with the bill to limit federal injunctions. The only way it'll get locked in is if the Senate Republicans go nuclear. And so, folks, what seems to be the case is that President Trump and the congressional Republicans are priming up a bunch of bills, preemptively passing them through the House of Representatives, so that after going nuclear in the Senate, they can just push through numerous bills all at once. Because you know what, folks? Right now, President Trump and the congressional Republicans have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually fix this country permanently. It's actually conceivable that by going nuclear in the Senate and passing an overwhelming amount of groundbreaking legislation, President Trump and the congressional Republicans could actually permanently fix this country and put an end to the anti-American radical progressive agenda. And so, folks, maybe this is controversial to say, but you know what? I think they should do it. I think they should continue priming up a bunch of awesome America First legislation, like limiting the reach of these corrupt federal judges and locking in nationwide voter ID laws and whatever else they're cooking up right now, and then go nuclear in the Senate and just pass everything. And you know what, folks? Keep in mind, the first time the nuclear option was invoked was actually in 2013 during Barack Obama's presidency. So what this means is that the Democrats have absolutely no room to complain if Trump and the Senate Republicans decide to go down this route. Also, over the last couple of years, we've heard from numerous senior-ranking Democrats that if they ever retake control of the Senate, they plan on using the nuclear option themselves again to further push their radical progressive agenda. So you know what? Here's what I have to say. Full steam ahead. You want America first? I want nuclear America first. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, this might be our last opportunity to save the country. Now, folks, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually gone ahead and made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and updates as it relates to all of this. So, hey, if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Should we go nuclear in the Senate? Let me know. Please like the video while you're down there. As I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle here on YouTube. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.